What would you do if someone always pointed out your mistakes? Every word you said, every action you took, every small thing you did was wrong in their eyes. Imagine living with someone like that. Rajan was that person. He had sharp eyes. Too sharp. He could notice even the tiniest mistakes. And he made sure everyone else did too. Friends, neighbors, colleagues, no one was safe. Even his wife, Mira, could not escape his eyes. Rajan, why do you always point out everyone's mistakes? Mira asked one morning as he scolded their neighbor for leaving the gate open. Why don't you look at yourself first? I am not the one making mistakes, Rajan replied, folding his arms. I am only helping people. Someone must correct them. Otherwise, how will they learn? Rajan's days began early, usually with a complaint. If the tea was too hot, the newspaper was folded the wrong way, or the milkman was late by a minute, Rajan noticed and scolded. At work, his team dreaded him. His colleagues no longer shared ideas freely. Every suggestion was met with Rajan pointing out better ways, or mistakes. Even his manager found it exhausting to work with him. At home, Mira tried her best to keep peace. She cooked carefully, cleaned meticulously, and still, something was never right. She learned to tiptoe around him. One morning, she accidentally spilled a few drops of tea on the table. It's okay, she said, trying to smile. But Rajan frowned. Why are you so careless? You always make the same mistakes. Mira felt a wave of sadness. She loved Rajan, but she realized that he might never understand unless he saw the effect of his criticism on others. That night, she lay awake, thinking. Finally, she made a decision. If I want him to change, I have to guide him in a way he cannot ignore. I will send him to my grandmother, Savitri. She is wise. She can teach him lessons through experience. The next morning, Mira spoke gently. Rajan, I think we need a break from the work. Let's visit my grandmother in her village. She has wisdom that can help you see life in a new way. Rajan laughed. I don't need wisdom. I just see clearly. People make mistakes, and I point them out. That's all. Mira smiled. Maybe this time, you will see things differently. Rajan shrugged, curious. He agreed, thinking that a village trip might be relaxing. Little did he know, this was the beginning of a journey that would change his life. The village was far, beyond forests and fields. As they traveled by bus, Rajan noticed everything. The road is uneven, he said. The bus is too slow. Why don't they fix this road? Mira stayed silent, glancing at him quietly. She wanted him to notice life beyond criticism, but she also knew this journey was part of her plan. The bus finally stopped near a small village surrounded by green hills. Birds chirped, and the smell of fresh earth filled the air. Rajan wrinkled his nose. This village is too small. It is not organized. The plants are all messy. Savitri, an elderly woman with bright eyes and a gentle smile, opened the door of her clay house. Ah, the man who notices everything, she said warmly. Welcome, Rajan. Let's see if you notice yourself too. Rajan looked around. The garden was full of flowers, herbs, and vegetables. Chickens ran around. He frowned. It's too messy. This is not how it should look. Savitri laughed softly. Come inside. There is much for you to see and learn. You will understand soon. That evening, Mira explained quietly to her grandmother. Grandmother, Rajan always points out mistakes in others. I have tried to reason with him, but nothing works. Maybe if he experiences things himself, he will understand. Savitri nodded. Don't worry. By morning, he will learn what no words can teach. Rajan, unaware of their plan, went to bed thinking the village trip would be boring. Little did he know, his life was about to change. The next morning, Savitri called Rajan to the kitchen. Rajan, I need your help, she said, handing him a mortar and pestle and a bag of dried chilies. Rajan smiled. Finally, a simple task, he thought. This is easy, he said confidently. He tried to crush the chilies, but they were tough. The mortar was uneven. Rajan pressed harder. Nothing happened. The chilies slipped. Some flew out. This is impossible, he shouted. The mortar is wrong. The chilies are wrong. Everything is wrong. Savitri laughed softly. Rajan, do it carefully. Don't complain. You will learn more this way. Rajan worked for a long time. His hands hurt, his back ached, and still, some chilies were not ground properly. He began to feel frustrated. Savitri watched quietly. Then she said gently, Do you see, Rajan? You complain about the smallest mistakes in others. But even a simple task is hard when done carefully. How do you think others feel when you criticize them constantly? Rajan looked at his hands, sore and red. For the first time, he realized that he had been impatient, harsh, and unkind. Later that day, Savitri took Rajan outside. She showed him 2 piles of stones, smooth ones and rough ones, and asked him to sort them perfectly. Rajan smiled. This is easy, he thought. But soon, he realized it was not. Some stones looked similar. Some slipped from his hands. He spent hours trying. Mistakes kept happening. His back hurt. His fingers bled slightly. He shouted at himself. Why is this so hard? I am perfect. Why are these stones wrong? Savitri sat quietly next to him. Rajan, look at these stones. Each one is different. Some are smooth, some are rough. Some are small, some are big. They are all perfect in their own way. You see mistakes in others, but even a small task is hard for you without getting upset. Imagine how others feel when you point out every mistake. Rajan looked at his hands and the stones. He felt embarrassed. For the first time, he saw himself clearly, not perfect, not always right, impatient and harsh. Rajan understood that noticing mistakes was not the same as understanding life. On the last day, Savitri gave Rajan a small task, to clean a pot of mud and water carefully. He tried, but he spilled some water and dropped a stone. Instead of getting angry, he laughed quietly at himself. Savitri smiled. See, Rajan? You can be patient with yourself. Now imagine if you treated everyone else the same way. Rajan understood. Criticism was easy. Patience, kindness, and understanding were hard, but that was what made life better for everyone. Rajan returned to the city a changed man. At work, he still noticed mistakes, but he guided people gently. At home, he helped Mira without complaint, smiled at small mishaps, and stopped pointing fingers. Friends returned, colleagues appreciated him, and Mira was happier than ever. Rajan realized that Mira had sent him to Savitri intentionally, to teach him a lesson he could never ignore. And he was grateful. Years later, when someone asked Rajan why he had changed, he would say, "The world is full of mistakes, and so am I. When I stopped pointing fingers at others and looked at myself first, I finally saw the good in everyone." True wisdom comes not from finding mistakes in others, but from understanding and improving yourself first.